and it will be a job well done here for Rollins, who will take that win in the petite final. Well, from the petite finals, we now jump to the grand finals here for the Division 3-8, and your runners and riders. In lane 1, we've got Wellesley. In lane 2, William Smith. In lane 3, Trinity. In lane 4, Tufts. In lane 5, Williams. And in lane 6, Bates. And this is the big race for the Division 3-8. Who will be victorious? I mean, as it stands at the moment, we've got 3 boats across that all want to take home this championship, Lindsay.
This is a very different race than what we saw this morning, where Tufts kind of ran away with their opportunity, made it very clear from stroke number 1 that they wanted to come up and show up in a big way. So you can see Tufts there in the blue hull, Williams just inside them with the purple blades. It's Trinity out in front, though, right now on the other side with the yellow hull. So Tufts and Trinity being in the center there, they were your heat winners, and they were, even though they were in separate heats, so then you never really know what's going to happen, regardless of the time being, you know, something that can be a confidence boost. Now that they're side by side, we're seeing that Trinity and Tufts are matching each other's speed, at least to a certain extent right now. I mean, Tufts had that big open water lead, so they weren't pushed. So being challenged like this, they probably were taught, hey, expect it. Expect anything. Expect no one to give this to you. You have to go out there and earn it. So once they kind of gain their bearings, I'll be interested to see what they can wind up with once they kind of get the jitters of the start. But the fact that it's the grand final of the NCAA out of the way.
Definitely, and Tufts, like you say, they had that huge open water lead. They walked all over the competition through the heat, but you know, now they've not practiced that under pressure element of the race, which can, you know, be that little bit more difficult to get that side-by-side experience under pressure when it really does count. You know, this is the race that they need to perform in. They're now half a length up, but they are sandwiched in between 2 crews that are dead level. Williams and Trinity are not letting up, and I think if that race continues to go down the course, Grace, it could almost eat up the crew from Tufts if they're not careful.
Yeah, again, speaking back to the heats, Trinity and Williams were within a boat length of each other, so now that they're neck and neck, that fight is really going to put pressure on middle lane Tufts as they go in, because yeah, Tufts was in a league of their own in their heat, and so this is going to be a really fun and fast grand final.
Well, just to keep you up to date, out in the lead, it's Tufts by, I was going to say half a length, but I think Williams looking to change that as they start coming up through on the inside here, on the nearest lane to us. Then over on the far side in 3rd place, it's Trinity. Behind them, William Smith, I think, poking their bows out for 4th ahead of Wellesley. And then finally, Bates in 6th position, trying to charge hard to catch up with that earlier pack going for 4th. But here we go. We are now into what will be the real turning point of the race as they come into the second half. It's what can the crew from Williams do here to try and get the jitters into the crew from Tufts, Lindsay.
You know, Williams has been biting at the heels of Tufts the last 2 years, and so to see them there with them once again, here we are in this position, you know, like this is an opportunity, this is a position they've been in for a couple of years now, and so here we are side by side at the same event. And this looks like a closer margin than maybe what we've seen in the past. They had struggled with Trinity a little bit earlier today, and so now this is already an inversion of that, so showing trajectory in the right direction.
What an excellent race here we've got for this grand final of the Division 3-8. It's all about Tufts at the moment. They really impressed us through the opening heats. They were so dominant, but that domination is not going to come easy for them here in this final, and they just cannot shake off the charge from Williams here, who have just held on. They've been super brave through that second 500, but the bravery really needs to come now, because the race will be won or lost in this second half of the course. And in fact, this little push from Williams, I think, is actually dropping Trinity back that little bit more, you know, pushing them back into 3rd place. What can Williams do here to try and, you know, elevate themselves into the race for the lead, Grace, as opposed to the race for 3rd?
Oh, it is just tough. Again, the second race of the day. I mean, this is a test of mental mettle, I would say. And so, yes, Williams, they're keeping contact with Tufts. As long as they can keep that contact, they're in striking distance. As long as they keep that in this last third of the race, they've got a shot.
Yeah, they've got a shot. The guys from Onotta Lake, Williams College, from Williamstown in Massachusetts are clinging on by their fingernails now to the crew from Tufts. I think Tufts have decided that it's too it's too
close.
Too close.
Too close for them.
Yeah. Like, what is going on? It's just too close for them, and they just want to be out of this now. What a great decisive move from them to slice off the guys from Williams. And Williams now, I think, are going to have to battle off for third position.
Trinity, as they crossed that third 500, it looked like they made kind of a decisive move there where they you saw the blades just get a little more collected and a little quicker. Like, they're willing to sprint 500 meters to make this happen, to not settle for third place. They want to go at least top 2. Something else that we have to keep an eye on, you can't see all 5 boats here in the picture, but William Smith, kind of a newcomer to this game, in the green hull at the top, is above Bates right now. And Bates came into this with a long history of winning and coming in runner-up in the Division 3, and they were well positioned to do very well this year. So that's also what's happening on the back of the pack.
Good call, Lindsay, and we'll watch the battle for the back of the pack coming through in just a few moments' time. But look at this race for seconds. Oh, a crab in the Tufts crew up at the front stroke seat of the Tufts crew. Just caught their blade there. I think they've got enough of a buffer, but is the door open here for Trinity, for Williams? What can they do to respond to that, to jump on that mistake from Tufts? It's all gotten a little bit ragged. It's all gotten a little bit pressured here up at the front, but Tufts recovering extremely well to take themselves back into contention for the lead here, Grace.
Oh, Trinity is really trying to take advantage of that little bobble, but Tufts is keeping it just ahead as they come towards the line, and neck, it looks like momentum maybe, just too close to call.
Too close to call. We'll have to wait for the official results there. I think Tufts did a brilliant job there to maintain that victory after that crab from the stroke seat. It could have been a disaster, but well recovered, and a brilliant victory there for Tufts. And we'll wait to see the result come through for that second place. I think that it was with Williams who takes second place by the smallest of margins ahead of Trinity. Teeny tiny 0.002 of a second. That is minute, nothing. And actually, do you know what, guys? I think that it was that fight in the middle that caught it really close at the end there. Here's the replay, and you can see here, it's Williams on the near side, Trinity on the far side, and that surge.
Yeah, they were just at the catch at the right moment to get the most power and jump out of that boat right when they needed it.
What an excellent finish to our first grand final in Division 3. It's just going to keep growing and getting better and better. Like, that's the opener for our finals.
Wait, I have to go back just for a second with being able to recover from that crab and not let it turn into a disaster in that point of the race.
Right.
That's a major skill, honestly.
Well, we've seen Olympic finals lost in that final 10 strokes because of crabs, because of malfunctions. So, to be able to recover that, absolutely excellent. Right, we're now on to the Division 3 first 8 final, and from our runners and riders, lane 1 Williams, lane 2 Trinity, lane 3 Tufts, lane 4 Bates, lane 5 William Smith, and in lane 6 Wellesley. And I think it's Wellesley here that are looking to upset the seeding. We've seen in the previous races, we're seeding from the middle lanes here. Winners from the heats are the ones that are placed in that lanes 3, 4. But over here in lane number 6, Wellesley are going, do you know what? I don't really care about the seeding. I'm going to go out hard and see what happens.
But I'm keeping an eye on Bates. They stood out to me in their heats as having a really slow start, and they were in 3rd or 4th, and then they just ate through the field over time. They were really consistent. They just executed what they needed to do, and so I'd keep an eye out for them to see what they can do in the last half of this race.
Yeah, Tufts, though, as per our previous race, just coming out hot in these first 500 metres, looking particularly relaxed, I would say, as they, shuffle out of the pack, out of that deck of cards that are piling up in this first 500 metres. You can barely choose between the remainder of the field. If anything, I would say, perhaps it's Williams actually over on the far side that are a bow ball ahead in second. And then you called it here, it's Bates who is sliding in the middle, but then actually William Smith for me that sit in arguably second place now.
Again, we saw a solid performance from them in that second 8 just a few moments ago from Williams-Smith. They have the green. They're kind of the unique green here in the Division III, but they're having a great show here. They're currently sitting in second, possibly third place pacing. Tufts has now slid out to about a half a length over the rest of the field, but they're pacing Williams over on the other side. They've got a handle on Wellesley right next to them. They've got somewhat of a handle on Bates, but I would keep an eye on Bates, just as Grace mentioned a few moments ago, because you can see them starting to gain momentum over the last handful of strokes and coming back into, if not the lead that that Tufts has on the field, then certainly the lead that Williams-Smith has on them and that Williams has on them.
Yeah, and I mean, Williams, what a sleeper agent out there in the far field or the far lane. Again, we have a slight east wind, so they're a little bit more protected on that side of the course, and maybe that's to their advantage here. And they're just using that and being able to row really light, take advantage of every single stroke. They have that little bit of cover. So they look to be second over Williams-Smith now at this point. But Bates is now eating into Williams-Smith.
Yeah, Bates along with Trinity. We can't forget about Trinity in lane number 2 there, running up alongside Williams. They'll be thankful to have Williams there to try and latch onto, to keep them up at the front of that field, because Tufts are starting to move into the distance here. This is what the dominant performance we were expecting from Tufts. We were expecting it in the 2V. Here in the first varsity, well, they're really, meeting the expectation that was set of them. And they're clear water up now, I think, as we move into the second half of the race. And the story is going to be fascinating here between, I think, all the remainder of crews are eligible, I think, for these top positions in this grand final. At the moment, I think Williams-Smith have snatched back second position over Trinity, but we'll have to wait and see what Bates can do. As you say, they're sitting, they're patient. We know that they've got great patience, and yeah, I think it's brilliant to see that Williams-Smith is just starting to creep up and overturn their rankings ahead of this competition, Lindsay.
And Tufts has the speed. They've had the speed for the last couple of years, and it's not Tufts and everybody else at this point. It's everybody else is still knocking on the door, and for Williams-Smith to go from their kind of a 6th position rank in the Division III to right now be sitting in second, because this is places 1 through 6 in the Division III in this particular event that you see on the course right now. We have to wait a couple more minutes to find out how that's actually going to shake out, but they have done a great job managing this middle portion of the race and not allowing the pressure from Bates to get to them, not allowing the history out of the Bates program to get to them. Bates 9-5 national championships, the most recent being in 2021, 7 runner-up. So they've had a lot of time in this position before, currently ranked number 1. But right now, Williams-Smith, actually, they've got overlap with the long leaders, Tufts. It looks like they have gone. Bowball has just grabbed on almost, if not already, the stern deck of Tufts.
Special things come from special competitions, and I think that they will feel that energy inside the boat. They will be able to, just out of the corner of their eye, see the puddles that are coming from the Tufts boat and go, wow, we're in contention with this crew that dominated the earlier rounds. We're really in it, and they've got Bates here to push off as well, who are starting to feature here in this third 500. They've come to play, and it's actually Williams over in lane 1 that are dropping back. They fizzled out a little bit too early. They went really hard, really fast to get into the race, but it's just not paid off here, and they've been left behind in this race for the top 3.
Yeah, again, their second 2K of the day, and here comes Bates. Bates is clawing back on Williams-Smith. They may have just nipped the lead there at that point for that second place position. It is going to be a dogfight in these red buoys.
And we saw what pressure can do to teams as they come into that final 500 meters. Small mistakes turn into very big consequences if they don't get this right, if they don't handle the pressure well. Side-by-side racing here, Lindsay. Who have you got?
You could just see right as Bates was creeping up, you could see kind of like a heat-seeking missile, just little by little on Williams-Smith, overtook the lead that Williams-Smith had. But with Tufts, it was almost as if as soon as they clicked into that last 500, they elevated. It was a very calm, long rhythm that they had, and then you could just see something shift, knowing that they had another gear, and they're exposing their gear here.
Well, if anything, Tufts has thrived under the pressure here. They have utilized this race behind them to kick on, to push on for that clear water. Tufts have really taken it and been able to push out, but Bates, they've been the story here, the crescendo in their race. They have timed it to perfection. Over the line, Tufts will win the first first 8 of Division 3. And then Bates, who just absolutely ground their hearts out to a second position over William Smith, the early second place holders, who should still be very pleased given their 6th place ranking that they headed up to the heady heights of the top 3. Brilliant stuff from William Smith. Absolutely chuffed for their performance. And then finally we'll get the last results trickling through. This is the National Championship. Tufts are crowned victors here in Division 3-8. We can see the remainder of the crew results here trickling through. Trinity, then Williams. But look at that, the smiles on the faces of Tufts. They go back to back in both the second and first 8s. Remarkable stuff from the Tufts program, Lindsay.
Barring any technical things, I don't need to be very good at math to know that by winning both of those events, that means that Tufts has also won the national title from a team standpoint. The Jumbo's the 3rd year in a row.
Jumbo's the 3rd year in a row. It's all about, you know, they got their trunks out, they're waving around and going, excellent. Yeah. Jumbos are huge here at the NCAAs, and it's brilliant to see what team spirit they had crossing the line. And I'm sure they're going to celebrate with all of their friends and family who are here on the banks of Lake Lanier. Well, they've got the spirit in them to take home the national championship. We're going to move now on to the Division 2-8s final, and we're already underway, going from left to right. In lane 2 we've got Humboldt, in lane 3 we've got Western Washington, in lane 4 Seattle Pacific, who we're going to keep very close eyes on, and then Embry-Riddle completing the field in lane number 5. And this was a sort of surprise of the day, I think, for me in this morning's contingent racing. Seattle Pacific were just outstanding, Grace.
Yeah, they had an early lead over Humboldt, and they just kept it, and they kept opening it up as they went down the course. Again, kind of the story they had been telling themselves that had been motivating them throughout the past couple of years was being the underdog, and then they went to this D2 invite and were so surprised at, you know, they were there with the big dogs. And here they are in this grand final, really putting on a competitive show.
Well, out of the blocks, talking about putting on a competitive show, Embry-Riddle here on the near side have had the guts to go out hard. They're trying to keep pace with Western Washington, who are the #1 ranked program here in this Division 2 category. And they're sitting in 2nd place. We talked about the guts that they had earlier, the real sort of tenacity that they've had to sort of bring themselves to this event in a cohesive manner. They've really relied on the athletes, like generating a lot of that motivation within themselves after a pretty bumpy season. And look at this, they're currently running in 2nd place, but having to fight off Seattle Pacific quite hard here, Lindsay.
You know, and having just enough athletes to field their 8 and their 4 here is a big deal. You know, there no room